Last time, I told you to buy these EVs used. Let the first owner eat the depreciation. That advice is still right, but it comes with a trap nobody warns you about. Because cheap used EVs are cheap for reasons, and walking in blind can cost you more than buying new ever would. 5 traps, 1 move that protects you. Let's make sure their loss becomes your win, not your disaster. And the timing is everything. The $4,000 used EV tax credit, gone. Expired September 30th. Used EV prices just fell off another cliff, so the lots are flooded. Cheap electric cars everywhere, buyers rushing in, sure they've won. But the seller isn't being generous. Registered is getting out, before the bill comes due. And the first trap is the one buyers think protects them. 8-year battery warranty. You see those words and you relax. You're covered. You're not. Read the fine print. Most battery warranties only pay out if capacity drops below about 70%. So your range can quietly bleed away for years, and as long as you're above that line, the manufacturer owes you nothing. It covers catastrophic failure. It does not cover the slow death that steals your miles one winter at a time. And on a 6-year-old used EV, you might have 18 months left on that clock anyway. The buyers who got burned all said the same 4 words. I thought I was covered. A battery at 72% isn't broken. It's working as designed. At least that car still drives. The next trap can't even get you to work. $3,000 to $8,000. The cheapest electric cars on the entire lot. And there is a brutal reason they're that cheap. Cars like the Fiat 500e and the early BMW i3 give you maybe 50 to 100 miles of real range. And they've been discontinued, so the parts, the software, the support are all drying up. That's orphan technology. Tiny range, slow charging, a platform nobody's building for anymore. Cheap to buy, impossible to live with, worthless to sell again. Save money on the sticker, then watch a 70-mile commute become impossible in January when the cold strips a third of your range. That's the 500e for thousands of people. Short range is an inconvenience. The next trap is a countdown timer on a battery that's already dying. The cheap Nissan Leaf isn't cheap because it's old. It's cheap because the battery is dying, and Nissan built it that way. The Leaf is one of the only EVs on the road with no active battery cooling. Every other serious EV liquid cools its pack. The Leaf just doesn't. And heat is what kills a lithium battery. So it degrades faster than almost anything else, which is exactly why it's the #1 EV showing up for battery replacements. That bargain Leaf may have already lost a third of its range. You buy one showing full bars and watch them drop within a year. The price wasn't a deal, it was the market pricing in a battery on borrowed time. A dying battery is slow pain. The next trap can wipe out your whole car in a single afternoon. A low-speed bump in a parking lot. On a gas car, a $1,500 fix. On your used EV, the insurer writes the whole car off. Blame the battery. It sits low, across the floor, exposed, and it can be a huge chunk of the car's entire value. Insurers can't cheaply inspect a pack for hidden damage, and they won't gamble on one that might fail later. So the safe move for them is to total it. This is real. Allianz found battery damage makes up around 8% of all claim costs, and minor knocks are totaling otherwise fine cars. Your bargain EV is one bad parking job from a write-off. Rear-ended at walking speed. Cosmetic damage, drove away fine. The insurer saw where the battery sits and declared it a total loss. And every trap so far funnels into the same number, the one that makes a cheap EV the most expensive car you'll ever own. $71,000. To replace the battery in a used electric car worth about 10 grand. That's a real dealer quote on a discontinued BMW i3. An extreme case, but it's the whole trap in one number. Out of warranty, a replacement pack runs $5,000 to $16,000. A Leaf battery? $5,000 to $8 grand, often more than the Leaf is worth. On an $8,000 car, the repair costs more than the vehicle. So the owner doesn't fix it. They walk away. They dump it cheap onto the used market. And that is why these cars are so cheap in the first place. The low price isn't your reward, it's the last guy's escape. Quoted $11,000 to revive an $8,000 car, he did the only sane thing left. He scrapped it. The cheap price is the warning. You just have to know how to read it. So here's the one move that separates a real steal from a money pit. Before you buy any used EV, you get a battery state of health report, a simple plug-in test. An OBD reader, an app, or a paid service tells you exactly how much battery life is actually left. No report, no sale. That one number turns a blind gamble into a decision you control. It's the difference between their loss becoming your win and their loss becoming yours. And once you've got the right one, keeping it healthy is the whole game. So I built a free field manual, 10 maintenance moves that keep a car running past 200,000 miles and save you over $1,000 a year doing them yourself. Free. Links in the description. Grab it. A cheap car isn't a deal until you know why it's cheap. Now you do. And if you want to see which EVs lose the most value in the first place, the cars feeding this whole used market trap, I broke down the ones losing up to 65% in 3 years. It's on screen now. Watch that one next.